Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand build-up show for the FA Cup against Nottingham Forest away. Manchester United, they are suffering with injuries, but we keep moving forward and this is the only competition that we can win silverware in this season. We have to win. Starting off with some breaking news before I introduce our guests. Rafael Varane and Bruno Fernandes, both Rafael Varane and Bruno Fernandes have travelled to Nottingham Forest, are in contention to play in today's game. Whether they start, whether they're on the bench, we'll bring that news to you as soon as we have it. But they are both with the squad. And also, with the United Stand squad, we have Mordzs, we have Ricky, and we have you all in the comments. Make sure to get your chats in. Anything you want to be discussed, make sure you get your super chats in, as always. I mean, Mordzs, let's kick it off with you. Varane and Bruno, both with the squad. This is important, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I say it's important. We're clutching at straws in general. I feel like our injury list is so long. Everyone is needed. Every single player. I can say probably about 10, 11 players that if they were injured, we'd be in a bit of a crisis because there wouldn't be anyone to fill that position. And Varane, to be fair to him, as important as he is to this team, we do have other centre-backs. We do have a couple other ones. So I wouldn't, like if, for example, we said Johnny Evans is playing, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, we have to play
Who plays with Johnny Evans?
Exactly. Who plays with Johnny Evans? I mean, even if we had Camboire, I mean, I wouldn't be too mad about it. He's obviously a young player. We do need a bit more experience in the team. But yeah, I think the fact that we do have these guys available is super important. And I mentioned before in one of the spaces that this is a big game for Ten Hag. It's an FA Cup final. Every single game in the FA Cup until the final is an FA Cup final because it's his last chance of silverware. A lot of people are saying his job, not on the line, for example, he's not going to get fired, but
he's under pressure.
He's under a lot of pressure, so he has to win these kind of games, especially against a lower or a poorer team like Nottingham Forest. So yeah, I think it's going to be a big game for him.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone's just tuning in now, it is breaking news that Rafael Varane and Bruno Fernandes have both travelled or are in contention to play tonight against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, which is huge considering Maguire is out with injury. That was a loss from the last game. Hoyland's out. We've got, I mean, the list of injuries, it's on the United Stand Twitter, it's absolutely crazy. We've got basically very makeshift defence right now.
Yeah.
But Ricky, I mean, coming over to you right now, I've just seen a comment in the chat saying, you know, the players have to be behind, you know, Ten Hag tonight if we have any chance. Like, there's got to be everyone just fighting for Manchester United out on that pitch, the fans as well who are travelling down. How important is this game, do you think, for Ten Hag? And how it could be defining, really, in his future, couldn't it?
It's massively important. And to answer your first question, they really have got to put a shift in tonight. You know, under the lights at Forest, the atmosphere is going to be great. Their players are going to be putting the shift in a big way. You know what I mean? But you know, they've already beaten us there in the league. So anybody thinking that we're going to go there and have a soft touch, they've got another thing coming. So yeah, they've definitely got to put a shift in. Anybody who does put the shirt on tonight. I forgot what your next bit was. How important is it? It's difficult to say. I mean, if we were to, you know, I've seen people suggesting if we get beat tonight and then perhaps take an hammer in on Sunday against City, that could be the back of it. So, you know, I'm not saying it is, but if it could be that important, So it's desperately important that they win tonight, really.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. I mean, I've seen people, Mordzs, which I cannot get my head round. Like, I understand people not being a fan of Eric Ten Hag. Like, I get that. Like, the football has been really bad this season. I can understand people being impatient. Yeah. I can understand people even maybe wanting to change the manager at the end of the season. I don't want to, but I can understand it. What I can't understand is I've seen people saying, you know, I hope we lose tonight so Ten Hag loses his job. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah, genuinely, like, that is like the most negative. I get it. We've been bad this season, like you said. I can understand it too. You know, when we've been playing this poor, it kind of takes a toll on you. We've been playing poor for years. It's not like it's the first season we played poor. We've been playing poor for years, so I can understand people's frustration with the fact that we're still not where we want to be. But to say you want United to lose, those words can come out of my mouth. I'm the most optimistic United fan in the world. I always think we're going to win, even if the odds are against us. I think we're going to win against City. You know what I mean? So, I mean, now, whatever happens, it happens, innit? But yeah, to say you want United to lose just so you can get Ten Hag out, I don't see how that's going to benefit anyone.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, this is our only chance at silverware this season. Like, we have to do everything we can. And people thinking he'd get sacked even if we lose this game. I mean, nothing's ever certain in life, but I don't think there's any way that Ineos and Sir Jim make any bold moves until at least the end of the season. Like even if they decide to change it, like they'll keep him there as like an interim without even saying it, because there's no point like right now for a few games. I just highly doubt it. But I mean, it is what it is. People can have their own opinions, but I agree, they're not United fans if you think that, in my personal opinion. But we also have a new member in the squad tonight. So let me just get down and see if I can find his name properly. We have if someone can send it me actually, because I've literally lost it. Habib. We have Habib in the squad tonight, a young right back entering the squad for the first time. I mean, obviously we've had issues at full-backs, but a lot of people saying, you know, Ten Hag should be brave enough to maybe include some of the youngsters a little bit more. Harry Armas has also been shouted him on the fan base. Would you be up for seeing that?
I'm always up for seeing young players come in the team. We've seen how well he's done with Manu. Kambada came in and he wasn't poor, but I mean, he definitely does a bright future for him in the team. Obviously, players like Garnacho. At the end of the day, Ten Hag has been known, especially from his background at Ajax, to be good at developing the younger players. And we've seen how the under-18s are doing this season. I think they're still unbeaten in all their competitions. So I trust, one thing that I definitely trust Ten Hag for is having a good eye for young talent, and that's something that people can't really complain about. He's always had a good eye for academy prospects. So, I mean, if he truly believes that you know, this young player Habib is good enough to play in a game like this, or you know, have a future in the first team at United, then I'm all for it. I'm definitely want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I love to see youngsters coming through. The under-18s are doing great. Habib is 18 years old himself. Don't think he'll start, but to even be in and around the squad, it's good experience and more players coming through. Subculture said, disappointed that Bruno might be playing. Last time he was out, we got a 0-0 draw at Anfield. Kieran Ruddick says, being off work sick isn't ideal, but at least I can watch the build-up show live for once. Never a dull moment with Ricky involved. Thank you very much, everyone. Continue to get your chats in and smash the like button as well. But Ricky, I mean, on that super chat, we'll bring it into the show. Bruno Fernandes, I think he will start. There's obviously no guarantees. But if he didn't, this would be the first game he'd miss through injury for Manchester United, which is just crazy. The guy is like a machine.
That's crazy.
But, I mean, what are your thoughts on it as a whole? A lot of people disappointed in the season that Bruno's having. A lot of people on Bruno's back. But I think a lot of people recognise there's not maybe many options there to replace him. I mean, what are your thoughts and feelings about it?
I think a lot of people watching probably already know that I think Bruno plays too far forward and it doesn't help the situation. And I mean, is it time to touch on the Jamie Carragher thing the other night? Because, you know, the gap between, he put it down as the gap between the defence and the midfield. It's not really the gap between the defence and the midfield. We seem to play with a defence and a forward line. It's like the gap between the defence and the forward line. Sometimes there's no midfield players there, and quite often Bruno's, you know, maybe Casemiro's back with the defenders and Bruno's up with the attackers, and we just need to be more compact. And I'm not nicking that off Jamie Carragher. I've been saying it on here for years and years. We've got to be more compact. We've got to get more players behind the ball. We got beat at Forest last time, so our wingers are not the best at tracking back, because when you're playing with two wide men, they've got to drop in to give you a solid line of however many it is, 4, sometimes 5 across the midfield. If your two wingers are not the best at tracking back, I'm not against having 3 midfield players in there, none of whom are going to bomb forward too often. Do you know what I mean? So that doesn't need to be Bruno, because that's not Bruno's forte. I wouldn't mind our midfield 3, if we played with a midfield 3, being any 3 from McTominay, Amrabat, Kobe Mainu, Casemiro, and even Eriksen. You know, people might say, oh, Eriksen, but you just got to stay in the position. You need players behind the ball, and then you can try and get some control of the game. So I won't mind any of those 5. There's 5 midfield players there that just named, I think are all fit. And I won't mind any 3 of those 5 playing, and then 3 forwards, rather than Bruno being an extra, like a number 10 as we call it. It's too many forwards. I've been banging on about this for years. There's too many forwards.
Do you not think the coach has to I agree with you that Bruno is creating holes in midfield. I actually think the midfield as a whole is too far forward away from the defence. I thought when Jamie Carragher was breaking it down, I mean, I like Ten Hag, but he seemed to hit back a little bit in his press conference, which is, you know, he is going to kind of said he was more subjective than objective. But at the end of the day, he is right. There is too many holes in our midfield. We are too far forward. It's like 7 versus 2, genuinely at the back, or whatever numbers you want to call it. But do you not think that's maybe a little bit has to do with Ten Hag? Like, he's picking Bruno week in, week out, and he's clearly telling him to play that high up the pitch.
Yeah, without a doubt. But it's also Bruno's natural game. It's not, you know, I'm pretty sure he could say to Bruno, stay back, don't go forward. I'm pretty sure he could. But I'm a great believer in picking players who play the role that you want them to play, and they play that role naturally, rather than having to say to somebody, I don't want you running forward today, I want you staying back. You don't have to say that to Amrabat, you don't have to say that to Eriksen, you don't have to say that to Casemiro. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. I like players who play the game naturally, playing the role that you want them to play without having to change how they play. And I would like, look, it's going to be a tough game. We need 3 midfield players who are going to be there. If we've got, look, we're struggling up front, aren't we? Rashford might be at number 9. He might be on the wing. If Rashford and Garnacho are on the wing, we're too powder puff on the wings, and we need 3 midfield players who are going to do the job.
Well, there's rumours, just rumours, literally pure rumours, not coming from the United stand, just rumours that Anthony's back in the 11 tonight. So people who were thinking Bruno was going to play on the right, there was a few. I even thought maybe he'll do that myself. I didn't agree with it, obviously. Anthony might be back in the starting 11. What do you make of that, Mords, if it was the case?
Anthony back in the starting 11. I mean, I would be lying if I said I wanted Anthony to play. Genuinely. I feel like anybody else, I'd rather even Bruno on the right wing over than Anthony. Genuinely.
Would you?
Yes. Like, my thing with Anthony is, I don't see the benefit, the positives for him playing. I can only see him playing now because of a lack of players in his position. I don't see how him playing on the right, for example, Bruno, at least I know Bruno is going to put in a better ball than Anthony. Bruno at least can alternate with, let's say it's Rashford up top and Garnacho. He can at least alternate across the front 3, and because Bruno plays very far forward anyway. So if Bruno was on the right, I could say, I could see a bit of a positive with him playing that far forward. Mm-hmm. I don't see a positive Anthony playing there. And especially when we have a player like Ahmad there as well, Garnacho. I'd rather see genuinely anybody else who can play that position other than Anthony.
If you were to pick and who would play on the right tonight, would you pick Ahmad?
Garnacho available.
Yeah.
Where you playing on the left?
Oh, so this is where the McTominay up front thing has come into play. Which yeah. I'm genuinely, I'm up for trying it.
Are you?
If someone said to me right now, going into this game, this will get clipped and then Rashford will score and I'll play up front. But if someone said to me now, as a centre forward, McTominay or Rashford for today's game, based off what I've seen at Fulham, I'm going with McTominay. Because I'm genuinely, Rashford gives me nothing. And people will say, he didn't get the service. He didn't. I admit that. Yeah. But at least give me some running, give me some hold-up play. There was nothing.
I'm not McTominay up front. I mean, obviously. I'm not even McTominay in his position.
So what would your front 3 be then?
The same as the last game.
You sat Forson?
Oh, no, sorry. No, not the same last game. If Ahmad would be on the right, Garnacho on the left, and I'll still play Rashford down the middle. I think that's our best. It's our best and worst case scenario. It's like you have to play Rashford down the middle because there is no other striker. Even though he's not a striker, he has played there in the academy. He has attributes that a striker needs to be able to play in that position. He's just, because he's played left wing for so long, I feel like his attributes naturally suit him to play coming in from a left position or even potentially a right position rather than playing down the middle. For me, when it comes to McTominay playing as a striker, for 90 minutes, it makes no sense. For 5 to 10, maybe 15, we're desperate, we need a goal, fair enough. We can change the tactics, change the game plan, and just go like hero ball and just try and hope McTominay puts a head on it or something like that. But for full 90 minutes to try and play good football with McTominay as a striker, it makes no sense. And I feel like one of the positives that Højlund had as a striker is, I feel like on the ball he was actually very good, and I wasn't worried about him. For example, sometimes even dropping a little bit deeper, getting the ball, and probably linking up with the strikers. I can't see McTominay doing that at all.
He does it better than Rashford would.
McTominay?
I reckon, yeah.
No, fair enough.
Generally being sick, because at least he's got the physicality to hold people off.
I'm just not McTominay. Like I said, 5-10 minutes, change the tactics, hero ball. McTominay, go and have fun. But for a full 90 minutes, watching McTominay play down the middle, is worrying.
No, I'm not. Do you think I seriously want to be here discussing?
I know it's a last case scenario. I know it's a last case scenario.
Don't. Like, I'm not an advocate of this. I'm saying we are down to the literal bare bones, and I would have always said Rashford up front if worse comes to worse, but he genuinely offers nothing up front.
So you rather risk it and play McTominay?
But at least he's going to give you a run in and hold up play. Like, at least it's the bare minimum. And by the way, like, genuinely, I don't think Ten Hag will do it.
Yeah.
And I hope Rashford plays and scores if he plays up front. Like, I hope that. But based off what I've seen, I just don't think how it can, like, they can be
anything worse.
Anything worse.
I mean, at best, I think I'm not a coach, so I don't know how this would even work, but if we played a kind of tactic where we played a front three that can alternate positions, where even though Rashford's playing down the middle, he could also drift out wide, and then maybe Garnacho could come into the middle a little bit, or Anthony, whoever's playing on the right, they could all three alternate those front three positions. That for me would be the best, because at least you're not forcing Rashford to have to play as a 9, because it doesn't work for him. He could slightly drift over to the left or the right, and like I said, the other two wingers can also drift across as well. That for me would be the best case scenario. But if that is a tactic that Ten Hag wants to play with or not, I don't know. But that to me would make sense.
I'd be up for Rashford playing off the left. I think that's his position. But down the middle, I just can't see it. But let's see. I mean, Sam, we'll come to you now with team news.
Yes, so earlier Beth told you that Rafa Varane and Bruno both travelled. That's now been confirmed because they have both been pictured by the press walking in to the Forest ground. And also I can tell you that Bruno Fernandes is in the starting 11. So yeah, Bruno does start today.
Bruno does start for Manchester United. I mean, Ricky, I'll come straight to you. If you want to talk a little bit about what we were saying there about, you know, the options up front, and then also your thoughts on Bruno starting.
Yeah, the options up front. The thing, the first one that you spoke about was Anthony on the wing. I'm not suggesting that tonight this would have been so vital, but I've just said that it is vital that we do defend well. I think he's a bit better defensively than Garnacho, and he's definitely better defensively than Rashford. I was chatting to somebody about the upcoming derby. I would definitely play him in the derby. I'd definitely play him in the derby. Whether I would tonight, whether we want to be a bit more proactive and want to just play better, if you like, rather than have to defend, I wouldn't necessarily go with him tonight, but I certainly would at the weekend. McTominay at number 9. I know where Mordzs is coming from. You know, you're going to throw somebody in there who you've never seen play there for a long period. Like he said, 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there. It could, it could come back to bite you. Of course it could. But I also agree with you that Rashford is offering so little. I would almost be tempted to try anybody there, you know what I mean? Anybody. That's how little he's offering at number 9. You know, if Phil Jones was available, I wouldn't be against Phil Jones playing at centre forward. You know,
I'll tell you what, Harry Maguire was giving a bit last game.
Yeah.
I was like,
he scored. So he's offering so little at number 9. He really is. So I wouldn't be against trying it on those grounds.
Just on Anthony quickly, I think the word is that he is in the 11. I do think he is in the 11. That is what's being shouted around at the moment. Interesting
stuff. I mean, Anthony, he's had a really, really, really poor season. But the one thing you do have to say is, you know, it's another opportunity. How many opportunities he's going to get? He's had so many now. Like, he has to start taking them, because last game, you know, if I'm sat there and I'm Anthony, the manager's known me, he's bought me for over 80 million, and he's playing Forsen over me and Ahmad. Like, fair enough, okay, Ahmad's a little bit more experienced than Forsen, but he's started somebody it's his first senior start for Man United over me, and he's brought me on at the 99th minute. Like, I'm thinking, right, there's news circling around that United are open to selling Anthony in the summer. We had Ben Jacobs on and Fabrizio Romano saying that could be a possibility, that we're looking to entertain offers. It literally is do or die. You've got to play well to stay at this club, and that's how it should be.
100%. And I think as well, one thing that Anthony can potentially benefit from in this game is, I mean, we know Forest is they've got a decent attack. They've got Amanini up top. They've got young wingers with Hudson. I say young, but he's not really that young. But Hudson-Odoi and Elanga, and obviously they've got Gibbs-White. So they're a very attacking team. That's probably their main, their best part of the pitch. And for someone like Anthony, like you said, against City, if he puts in that effort and he shows his defensive capabilities today, and he can show, you know what, I'm not just here to be an attacking threat. I can also help, with the press, and I can also help potentially with the fullbacks and following my runners and tracking back and whatnot. He could definitely put in a good performance when it's a good performance based off his defensive attributes, not just his attacking attributes. Yeah. And he can show Ten Hag that he can do a bit more than potentially a Rashford playing there, because everyone talks about Rashford defensively. He's a bit more of a liability. So that could be one thing that Anthony could benefit from today.
Also, guys, just a quick reminder that we have the FA Cup quarter-final draw. It's 7 p.m. We'll be live for that, so we'll be reacting to who United's potential opponents could be. I mean, we've got to get past Forest first at the City Ground, so I'm not going to lie, I'm not holding out too much hope, but and because of obviously how injury-ridden we are and how poor we have been recently in the last game, but the draw will be here, so if we do get through, we'll be able to bring that to you. We've got a super chat in from Thomas Hopley saying, is playing McTominay not basically playing Weghorst? I mean, interesting super chat there from you. I mean, get in your super chats as well. Anything that you want to say, any questions you want to ask, or any hot takes or anything like that, make sure you put your super chats in. Khalid, United, member for 3 months. Love you guys, but I have a feeling that this could be a win. But I hope it is a win. I hope it is a win for Manchester United. I think we all do. But Ricky, in terms of, obviously, Anthony is going to start coming from Sam. Bruno is going to start as well. I know you've spoken about wanting to try different Bruno in a different position, but him starting tonight, do you think that this is a game where we've seen in recent games, sometimes he does tend to go a little bit more simple, and then he'll have a streak of games where it's just like complete hoofball. Do you think tonight, after all the critics, you might see a little bit more of a simple Bruno?
Yeah, you might well. I won't necessarily call it a different position. Maybe he won't go as far forward as often as he normally does. But I've sat there 2 or 3 times recently. I think on one occasion I said he was man of the match tonight, just because he kept it simple all night, and it is what he needs to do. And he also, like I say, tonight, he also needs to be a member of that midfield 3 when we're under pressure, when we're defending. He can't be up amongst the forwards. He cannot be up amongst the forwards. If Anthony's going to play, I can't imagine Garnacho getting dropped, so I imagine he's going to be on the left, and probably Rashford at number 9. Just getting back to your super chat, by the way, I wish we had Weghorst tonight. He'd definitely play. If Weghorst was there tonight, he'd be playing at number 9 without a doubt.
You know what I mean? Of course he would. And Weghorst wasn't exactly a goal scorer at Man United, but he played for the team. And I give you respect if you play for the team, and that's what I'm asking for. And that's why I was harsh on Rashford last game, because I was like, just give me a little bit more. I know the service in this team is rubbish. I get that. I'm not expecting you to go out and score a load of goals, because he's just not there. But give me a bit of hard graft, and the whole team has to do that tonight. And it'll be interesting to see who the whole team is. But I agree. I think it will be Anthony, Rashford, and Garnacho. Which, I mean, hopefully it can do something. But in terms of Nottingham Forest, I'll just quickly start with you, Ricky, because I know you're a big Elanga fan. Elanga and Hudson-Odoi, I suspect will be their wingers. Awani to start up front. I reckon it'll be, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's a powerful front 3.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, it's going to be a difficult game. We don't really know yet who's going to be playing at left back, do we? I think Elanga has been playing on the right for him. He's played on the left early doors, but he's been playing on the right recently. He's an handful for any fullback, absolutely any fullback. So whoever plays there tonight for us. You were speaking about the young lad who's come in. What's he called? The 18-year-old right back. Habib. I suppose the other kid, the left back, Armas, he's only 16, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I think that's why he's probably been brought forward. I'm just wondering whether we might see him actually start, and Dalot might start at left back, because Dalot has done well at left back numerous times, including taking care of Saka. He took care of Saka once, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? Did he play at left back against Forest as well?
He did, and he scored.
Right, yeah. So you might just see him getting a start, that young lad, tonight, and Dalot playing at left back, and that'll then leave. Well, unless Varane's fit. Have they said he's Varane's fit yet?
Varane's there, yeah, he's fit.
There, so Varane might play anyway, right? I was going to say that I was expecting Varane not to play. That would have left us with Lindelof and Evans, of course, for the 2 centre-back spots. But if Varane plays, you've got Dalot, you've got Varane, you've got Evans, and you've got Lindelof. So the young kid would be on the bench if all 4 of them are fit.
I think there's going to be some surprises. That's the word.
Some surprises. Well, stay tuned because team news is out in 5 minutes.
5 minutes will bring you the team in 5 minutes.
5 Cantonaz says sell Rashford and get that Georgian from Napoli. Jack Clancy says I'm calling it now. If we somehow win FA Cup quarter-final, be United versus Liverpool under-21s at Anfield. Surely we've got to do a better job than Chelsea did. I mean, come on. Yeah. Old Soul Wrong World says Anthony gets a year, yet the rest have had 6+ and done nothing. Would rather see Rashford go. At least Anthony works hard, which should be the minimum. Interesting take there. DS Ford says, Ricky, I bet you $10 McTominay scores the winner today. I mean...
He probably bets it as well, anyway.
Pardon?
He probably bet it as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to put money on anyone to score the winner, he's the one I'd go with. So, but I mean, Mordzs, Elanga.
Yeah.
Do you think tonight against a shaky defence of Man United that he could come back to haunt us?
I don't think he wants to. I feel like he wants to. I feel like every player that leaves United just wants to score against us anyway. Like, they just want to prove that we made a mistake by letting them go. And like, to be fair, he's shown us already that we've needed him this season. Genuinely, as a right winger, Elanga probably would have played a lot of games this season if he had stayed. So he's definitely got a bit of a bone to pick, and he definitely would want to have a good performance against us. But one thing I will say though is with Nottingham Forest, their attack. Obviously, you've got the front three that we spoke about. You've also got Gibbs White, he's a midfielder, but he plays pretty high up as a 10. I think he scored against us. I think he scored a winner against us last time.
Hudson-Odoi won it. Or Gibbs White, was it?
I think it was Gibbs White he scored a winner. Pretty sure.
When he curled it in by the post, was it Gibbs White? Yeah, it was Gibbs White. I'm sure it was.
My memories.
I feel like it was Gibbs White at edge of the box.
Yeah.
And
There's been so many people that have scored winners against us.
I'm sure the chat will let us know, but Gibbs White he's another big threat in my opinion. And you know what?
Yeah, it was Gibbs White.
It was Gibbs White.
Gibbs White is so good.
That's what I mean. He's a player that honestly I think he's their biggest threat. If we're talking about attacking players, he's the biggest threat in my opinion.
Yeah, if people always say obviously I'm a Bruno fan. I think he's having a bad season, but if Bruno did ever go, I'd bring him in me. I really rate Gibbs White. I think he's so good. Yeah,
100%. But one thing I will say though is that because he plays so high, and Ricky was speaking about the midfield, about how we need to get a bit more control. Because Gibbs White plays so high, and the other midfielders is I think it's Danilo and I think the other guy Dominguez or something like that. We could actually take advantage of that because if we can compact that midfield and get a bit more players into there, because Gibbs White does push so high at the pitch, we can kind of take advantage and hopefully be able to control the midfield a little bit more. Like I said, if he's pushing so far forward, we can maybe work on a counter or maybe work the ball a bit better in the middle of the pitch if Bruno was to play like that.
Work the ball better. That is something we definitely need to do. But I've got some breaking news in actually. This is coming from Samuel Luckhurst, and he says it sounds like Kobbie Mainoo is not starting for Manchester United tonight. Possible that Amrabat comes in. That is a blow. So Samuel Luckhurst is reporting that it's possible that Kobbie Mainoo does not start. Sorry, it looks like Kobbie Mainoo does not start tonight, and possible that Amrabat comes in. So Amrabat in for Kobbie Mainoo. I mean, Sam, it's peaking it.
I don't understand why it's happened. Unless Kobbie's picked up a knock or something that we haven't been told about, but he was pictured walking into the stadium. So
one thing I will say is this
guy has played every minute.
Yeah, he's 18 years old. People complain about Ten Hag burning Højlund and Bruno out.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Maybe he's genuinely just managing his minutes just coming into the team, but also Mordzs, like you said, it's an FA Cup final for us.
Yeah, literally, and we've got another huge game on the weekend as well, so maybe he's thinking about that. He's probably going to play him for the full 90 minutes against City. We need someone like that regardless against City, the way they play. So I'm hoping it's not a case of he's just out and he might be on the bench, but he's just out for the whole game. I'm hoping potentially he brings him on after a certain amount of time. But
the text I got just now said Team Ten Hag focusing on the derby.
Yeah.
Team news literally in 30 seconds. We'll have the team.
And we'll bring that to you. I mean, Ricky, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I'd rather him focus on this game than the derby.
No, so would I, because I think the derby we've lost anyway. No matter who plays.
I wouldn't say it out loud, but I'd rather... Like I said, these FA Cup games right now, I mean, there's still some decent teams left in the FA Cup. City are still in the FA Cup. Chelsea are still in the FA Cup. Whatever you think about Chelsea, they're still there. So there are some difficult teams, but this should be a huge focus for Ten Hag. He should be thinking, you know what, every game has to be a win. We're not throwing this away. We're not just going to play a B team or just throw in a bunch of youngsters. No, he needs this, not for just his job, but confidence in general for the players.
One thing I would say is that we are so injury ridden that we can't afford Kobe to be injured. So if he's on the bench today, even though I would have started him myself, at least we can bring him on and get a little bit of him. And Amrabat, again, is another person who has to prove himself. But have we got the team in, Sam?
Yes, the team. The way the club do it, they release it in shirt numbers. So I'll read it like that and then unpick it as we do it. So it is Onana in goal. Lindelof and Amrabat start. Bruno, as leaked earlier, is in. Rashford, Garnacho also start. So the front three is Rashford, Garnacho and Anthony. McTominay does start. Diogo Dalot starts, Casemiro and Rafa Varane. So that's no Kobbie Mainoo, no Harry Maguire, but looking like Amrabat at left back. So it's Onana, Lindelof, Amrabat, Varane and Dalot. Unless you're
No Johnny Evans?
No Johnny Evans. Unless you're going to play...
He was absolutely outstanding at Luton.
Evans is on the bench. Yeah, but you might be resting him for the derby.
Could you do McTominay at centre-back? Maybe. Just plays there for Scotland sometimes.
Yeah. Why? Have we not got 4 defenders there? We've got Dalot.
Onana, Lindelof, Amrabat, Varane, Dalot, Casemiro, McTominay, Bruno, Garnacho, Rashford, Anthony. So Kobbie is on the bench. And then the Manchester United bench is Bayinde, Evans, Kambwala, Ahmad, Collier, Ogwene, Eriksson, Forson and Mainoo.
Yeah, Habib Ogwene is on the bench. The right back.
Yeah.
So, wow, everyone. The team is in. Mainoo out for, McTominay or Amrabat, whichever way it goes. I think it will be Amrabat at full-back and McTominay in the midfield, which again scares... Amrabat against Elanga scares the absolute life out of me because he has no pace.
There's no Hudson-Odoi in the Forest 11.
Oh, is there not? Okay. Well, there's something. Have you got the Forest 11, actually, Sam?
Yes. Yes, let me just...
Getting your ratings of that lineup, by the way, in the chat. Let me know all your thoughts.
Okay.
Get in there.
So, Turner in goal. Toffolo, Murillo, Felipe and Williams is the back four. Danilo, Gibbs, White and Yates in midfield. Then Origi on the left, Awoniyi up front and Elanga on the right. So no Hudson-Odoi.
So it would be...
Hudson-Odoi is on the bench.
Hudson-Odoi can come on and score your goal. They have threats. They have major threats. I'm going to get through some super chats and then we're going to get into it. So Jim's 91 says Elanga masterclass incoming will score a hat-trick. I won't go that far, but I think he could be in with a shout of a goal today. Darren Mulaney says I think we could have a better chance playing the youth. At least they play for the badge and pride. Ronnie Dodd says I can see Amrabat starting tonight. Well, you were right, Ronnie. And Thomas Hopeley says Weghorst, then McTominay, then Rashford. I need the ball to be held up. Adil Khan says we need Amad Diallo to start. Thank you for your super chat, Adil, as well. In terms of, that's what we can take away from the lineup. What I can take away is to come off the bench, we have Ahmad, Forson, Mainoo, and Eriksson as kind of threats to help us score a goal, really, because I see Mainoo as that, the way he studies the midfield and the way he obviously won us the game at Wolves. But Ricky, what are your overall thoughts of the lineup, especially the front three, Rashford, Anthony and Garnacho?
It looks like Rashford's obviously going to play at 9 again, as we said. Just hope he does better. That's all on that front. As I said before, I think Anthony, he might have it in mind that he wants Anthony to play in the derby because of his defensive capabilities in that game. Yeah. So I think that's maybe one of the reasons that he's starting tonight. How we're going to shape up at the back is really confusing. Like I've just said, I'm shocked at Johnny Evans when we've got all these injuries. I think the writing's on the wall for Johnny Evans. And I really, look, I'm not joking. At Luton, he was the best player on the field for the second half. So I thought, at least he's going to play. It's looking. We've got Dalot, Lindelof, and Varane. So Amrabat could be at left. That's right, isn't it? Lindelof's playing, isn't it? Yeah. So it could be Lindelof and Varane, and Amrabat could be at left back. Yeah. Or, as you said, Sam, McTominay might play at centre back, and Lindelof could play at left back again.
And then Amrabat could go into midfield.
And then Amrabat could be in midfield. So it remains to be seen.
Yeah.
It's just I get resting, rotating. I get that Mainoo's played a lot of minutes, but I struggle to see he's so... We'll let you into a little behind-the-scenes conversation. Before Mords, behind the scenes, I said, generally just randomly, because we're just like, making conversation, having a bit of a chat, I said, who are United's 5 most important players?
Yeah.
And we actually included Manu in there, didn't we? Because we feel like no one can do what he does, so that's a loss. And I'm going to be honest, I would prefer Evans into Lindelof. I'm going to be completely straight up with you. And then Amrabat left back, it's just a long day. Really is a long day because he's not played left back in a while. I mean, I feel sorry for Amrabat, to be honest. He's come here to be a midfielder. He's played full-back when he first gets introduced, not even fully fit, and now he's not been in the team for ages and he's been thrust into full-back again. Yeah,
I mean, we spoke about this before, about United's left-back position and the fact that for most of the season, it's been a makeshift left-back. And we're confused why we've had a lot of pressure on our defence. It's because we're not playing players in position. Amrabat came into United, obviously he's on loan, and he played left back straight away. He didn't even have a chance to play in his natural position. He had to play left back straight away. You had Dalot play that. I've even seen Wan-Bissaka play left back this season. I've seen everyone play in that position, and we still don't have. We still right now still don't have a player to play there. So
and
I wouldn't.
We sent Reguilon back for.
And we sent Reguilon back for no reason. And they were both on loan. Like, we could have kept both of them, but yeah, that left back position is probably going to be a part of the pitch where they're going to attack. I'm just hoping, I'm assuming that if it's Lindelof and Varane, Lindelof will play left side of centre back. I'm just hoping that they have a bit of cover. Like, him and Amrabat kind of work a bit together, just so then they can have cover on that left hand side. Because that is, in my opinion, the most threatening side for Nottingham Forest. Especially, like you said, with Elanga, that pace is ridiculous. Probably one of the fastest players on the pitch when he's playing against United. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them. But I mean, what can we do? We have no one else to play there.
It is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Thomas Hopley says, how many times will we see our 6 in the opposition's box? I mean, this is something I'm going to ask the panel as well. Tom Edwards says, Rashford at 9, is Erik ten Hag for real? I mean, just like I said, I don't think it can get... Like, we've got little options. It is what it is. Alejandro Conti says, Beth, you're the GOAT. What do you think happens today to the manager if we lose? I think it's just more pressure. I don't think he gets sacked, but it's just more pressure building up and more noise around his job, probably. I mean, today against Forest, I want to ask you all this because I was thinking about it myself. I'll go round and ask. I'll start with Ricky. How do you think Ten Hag should set up? Because I'll tell you what I said. I said, with the amount of injuries we've had and where we're at right now, I would not mind if we set up to park the bus. I get it's Forest and that's embarrassing for Man United today, but it is what it is. We set up to park the bus and try and counter-attack them and just keep our shape. A little bit like we did at Anfield, which is crazy because this is Nottingham Forest, it's not Liverpool, but we're in no position to take anyone lightly. At the end of the day, it's a knockout game. You know, all you need to do is score 1. Is that how you'd approach it?
Yeah, sort of. I sort of agree. I just think that, but sometimes when you say park the bus, that's more like a team, as Mourinho's done over the years plenty of times, where he actually sets out that everybody's going to stay behind the ball, nobody's going to venture into their half of the field hardly. We're just going to sit back and soak up the pressure. I don't sort of agree with that approach, but I do believe, again, getting back to the compactness, when we're defending, we need everybody defending.
Yep.
Everybody defending. And then hopefully we can get a foothold in the game and start to move forward, but move forward as a team, so that you've got that, again, that word compactness. The defenders are not that far behind the midfield players, and the midfield players are not that far behind the forwards when we've got the ball in their half. But certainly agree with you that when we're defending, we need everybody defending. Everybody.
Mods?
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think I remember the last game that we played against Forest. I think the reason why they even scored was literally based on that. We didn't have everyone defending, and they had a lot of opportunities in and around the box. And people like to blame the defenders for when there's opportunities in and around the box. But in my opinion, it's not entirely the defence's fault, because as midfielders, you're supposed to be there as well. Every single top team plays with a group of players as defenders and a group of players as attackers. It's not just. It's an old-fashioned mentality of playing football where you have your defence, then your midfield, then your striker. You have to have players who are part of a defensive system and then a group of players that are part of an attacking system. And like I said, from that last game, their goals came from the fact that we didn't have a defensive system. We had a couple of defenders, but there was multiple times where I've seen players just absolutely just wander into the box and no one picked them up. And we've seen that loads of times this season, to be fair. I remember the last time we played City, that was one of the reasons why they scored, because I think it was maybe Ericsson or McTominay, I can't remember which player, but they left their runner to make a run into the box. And once you do that against top teams like City, they're just going to walk through and just pass the ball into the net. And like I said, with Forest, I think the last goal with Gibbs White was a free shot on the edge of the box because the midfielders weren't showing or fulfilling their defensive responsibilities, and they were just letting Forest kind of just work their way around into our box, into our area, into our final third, and get opportunities. So, yeah, I think, like Ricky said, we need to have a more I don't know the word, like cohesive way of defending, where everyone's defending together and everybody knows their roles and everybody's following their players and everyone's putting in effort, putting in tackles, putting in interceptions, and not just relying on just the defenders to defend. If we all do it together, I say I'm not playing, but if the whole team do it together, then we can have a better chance of stopping them.
Completely agree. It's about the structure, and Ten Hag, at the end of the day, is responsible for that. And I mean, Sam, what are your thoughts on it? I saw something really interesting today, actually, and let me actually just get it up because I want to get your opinions on it, and people's opinions in the chat as well. Get your super chats in of what the predictions of how the game's going to go, what you think about how we're going to line up. But just to kind of sum up what I saw on Twitter, it was basically somebody saying that people are saying that, you know, criticising Erik ten Hag, but that he hasn't got the players to play the high intensity, high pressing football and to basically do his tactics. And he said that when Rangnick came in, he got the players to play the way he wanted to play for 45 minutes against Crystal Palace, and since then he had to completely change what he was doing because he realised the players couldn't do it on a consistent basis. Rangnick's come out and said this, like, he just didn't have the players, and the players didn't have basically the attributes and the work ethic to go and do it. Obviously Ten Hag's in a different situation. He's had pre-seasons, he's had time, he's had money. But do you think Ten Hag's stuck in a place now between playing his football with players that can't do it, but also going against his identity, and altogether it's just a bit of a mess, and that's why he's not getting results?
I mean, I think, yeah, you kind of said it there. The thing with Ten Hag is he basically came out and admitted that post game. I think at one game he said, I can't play the way I played at Ajax with this group of players. So then people are saying you have to sack the manager because the players aren't playing well. But then if Rangnick couldn't get the players to play well, and Ten Hag said that he can't play how he wants to play with this group of players, then do you question whether it's the manager or it's the players that just aren't really good enough? And
also the amount of money he spent does come into question.
Yeah, of course.
Again, that's why we need a sporting director, and hopefully the ownership will help us with that, and we'll get updates on Dan Ashworth hopefully soon. But talking about the game today, I mean, we've got a super chat in from Netflix and Chilwell, member for 20 months. Ricky is right, we need to fight together and keep it compact. We don't have the pace at the back when our back line wanders into midfield. That's so true, and that's why as well Casemiro gets left for dead so often, because he doesn't have the pace and he gets left like he'll get left man to man, and in the foot race he's not winning it. He dives in, he gets a yellow, and then he's just pressurised. The whole system is flawed, going to be honest. Jack Glancy says, thank you for your super chats, by the way. Jack Glancy says, I love Casemiro, but this is how the formation is going to turn out. We are playing with a 4-1-5, and Casemiro can't handle a whole midfield at once. That's absolutely true, similar along the lines of what I was just saying. And we've got, one second, my screen is gone off, but we had a member. I'll get that back up in a second. The draw is about to start in 2 minutes. Ooh. Sam, I'm going to put you responsible for finding out the draw for us. Yes. We'll keep coming to you for that.
Yes.
I mean, while we're talking about the draw, I'm going to kick off with some players to watch tonight. Mordzs, I'll start with the first one that I brought in, and it was Diogo Dalot. The reason being is, he's had some good games against Forest. He's scored goals against Forest. He's linked up with Anthony to score a goal against Forest. They are playing together tonight. Maybe that's what's in Ten Hag's thinking. You know, holding on to little glimmers of hope there and here and there. But consistent starter for United now in a team full of inconsistencies. How important will he be tonight?
Yeah, super important. But I think mainly, I'd say defensively, that's what I'm looking for Diogo Dalot. I want to see a very good defensive performance. In my opinion, I don't think he had a good defensive performance against Fulham. I think he let a lot of crosses come into the box. I'm pretty sure that goal came from his side as well. So I'm looking obviously he's not one of my players to watch, but in terms of the way how I'm going to be rating Dalot this game, I'm going to be looking to see if he can actually stop Forest's attack. But I don't know if we're going to go into to my player to watch.
Go on.
So I go to my player to watch. Okay, my player to watch is Garnacho. And the reason why, it seems like a simple one, but I genuinely think he's the only attacking player that we have that's a threat right now. I don't see anybody else that's really going to be threat. Because we're not up Highland, we're playing Anthony, which is a big if. We don't know what he's going to play like. We don't know if he's going to have an amazing performance. He could have a terrible performance. And like we said, Rashford playing down the middle I've never seen him play great down the middle. So Garnacho for me is our main attacker right now, who I have a bit of confidence in when it comes to actually putting in a good performance. So yeah, he's my player to watch.
Play to watch. I agree that Garnacho looks like the only one who's like really trying to make things happen in that final third, and where the most kind of potency of our attack comes from. So hopefully, I hope he has a good game, and again, a young player who's playing a lot of minutes. Yeah. So I just hope obviously everything is okay there and like he can continue. But he's obviously going to have peaks and troughs if he's a young player coming to a team that is literally now like. Remember when he was like only getting sub appearances, and now I'd say he's one of the first names on the team sheet.
Yeah, and another thing as well. This ain't got nothing to do with Garnacho, but with McTominay, I think this game is going to be heavily dependent on what McTominay's instructions are, because if Ten Hag says to McTominay, I want you to just be kind of like a second striker and play very high up the pitch, which we've seen him tell him to do in other games. That is going to be, I think that's a bit of a liability for United, just because he's going to leave so much space in the middle. Bruno's going to be up there with him regardless, which just leaves Casemiro by himself. So, but if he says to McTominay, I want you to play super deep and pretty much help out Casemiro, I think that, in my opinion, that'll be the best option, because it gives Casemiro somebody else to kind of rely on and not have to do as much defensive work than he would normally have to do, because Mainoo is that player that I think Mainoo is amazing defensively, not just on the ball, but defensively. He gets a lot of interceptions, gets a lot of clearances, a lot of headed clearances for somebody who's not that tall. Apparently he's not that tall. I don't know how tall he is, to be fair. But for somebody who's not that tall, he gets a lot of headed clearances. So I'm hoping the instructions for McTominay this game is a bit more defensive than attacking, because if it is attacking, I think that's going to create a huge gap in the midfield, because Bruno's not going to be there.
Yep, I can understand where you're coming from that. Damianos Portorino, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. Everyone get in the comments who you bet that we draw against. I mean, obviously we've got to get through this game, but who do you bet we draw against? Ricky, who are you thinking?
Who am I thinking?
I want Leeds.
If we get through, City or Liverpool will probably get.
We want them to draw each other.
Want them to draw each other, of course we do. Of course we do.
We've just been drawn, Nottingham Forest or Manchester United versus, just waiting for it.
Are we the first name out of the hat?
No, Wolves or Brighton versus Coventry. Nottingham Forest and Man United versus the winners of Liverpool versus Southampton.
We just knew that was coming.
So we're on to Liverpool if we get through, probably.
Home to Liverpool if we get through. Wolves or Brighton versus Coventry.
So we're out.
Who have City got?
Well, Chelsea and Leeds have just been drawn against Leicester. It's all just coming through now to me. But yeah, could be Manchester United versus Liverpool.
City and Newcastle, I think, innit?
I'm not being funny though.
Do you
know how last season Man United could have stopped City winning the treble? Like, this could be us stopping Liverpool from winning the poor man's quadruple with the Europa League.
City Newcastle, a City at home.
Oh, well, they're winning that because Newcastle in terrible form.
So the draws are Wolves or Brighton versus Coventry, then the winners of our game versus Notts Forest. So if we win, we'll be at home to either Liverpool or Southampton. So I think we're all hoping for Southampton winning that 8 o'clock game. Chelsea Leeds versus Leicester, or City versus Newcastle.
We are obviously hoping for... The only hope I have, right, with Southampton, who... I mean, I don't hold out much hope, but the hope I have is that Liverpool have just come off the back of that Carabao Cup win, okay? Yeah. They need to focus on the league because they're in really good position in the league. They've just won a cup. They have many injuries. Can Southampton do a little bit of something for us?
They did last year for us.
I know, but it's different circumstance now, isn't it? They did last year for us, they did. Can they do something for us again? Because we need them to. And Because for me, United against Liverpool, I don't care if we're at home. Like, I was so excited for this Forest game if we get through it, and now I just think, oh, we've got to face Liverpool at home. By that time, they probably have all the players back as well.
Yeah.
You're so optimistic. I love it.
No, I mean, the last time we played Liverpool wasn't bad. So, I mean, we could have a repeat. What was it? A draw. We drew 0-0. Obviously, that's not. We kind of want to win the game, but like I said, hopefully, yes, they might have their players back. Hopefully, we have our players back. Hopefully, we're on a bit of a better run of form. I mean, to be fair, I say on a better run of form. We've lost one game this year, so it's not like we've just been losing 25 games. Like, yes, performances-wise, we haven't been amazing, but sometimes if your confidence is just that high because you're winning games, you can go into a game like Liverpool and pull something out of the bag, which is kind of what we did last time. So, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic, but genuinely, I don't know.
It's tough. I mean, get in your comments what you think about this. Everyone's saying let's just win this game first. I think that's a really good way to look at it, and that's what the most important thing is. And I'm going to be honest, if we get through and we're against Liverpool at home, I have a little hope. But you know, prove me wrong. Goldio says state of that bench is appalling. Sean Dunn says I just hope for once our front four pass in the final third and be more clinical instead of trying to be heroes. I mean, that would be nice. Ricky, your thoughts on the Liverpool draw?
Well, just first of all, desperately hoping that we can get through tonight. Else it's not really relevant, is it? But you've got to fancy Liverpool to beat Southampton. So if we get through, at least it's at Old Trafford. You know, we've got a chance. We've got a chance.
Yeah.
It could be one of them moments. Do you remember? I mean, I'm clutching at straws here. Obviously, Ten Hag lost his first 2 games of the season last year. Turned up against not Anfield. We turned up at Old Trafford against Liverpool, and we thought, you know, we're going to get beat. Sancho, to be fair, pulled out a really good goal, and Rashford scored as well, and we ended up winning that game, and we kind of went on a bit of a run. We need like a turning point. We need a defining moment like that. Maybe that could be that, but I am seriously clutching at straws there. I really am.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, that's the draw, and you know, have your comments on that. We'll bring them into the show. I want to move on to another player to watch, and I'm going to Ricky for this. I brought up Casemiro because I knew he was going to start tonight, and he's someone who gets a lot of mixed reviews, I'd say, in the fan base, Ricky. And what do you think about maybe? I know you like him, but also you have issues with him as well.
Yeah, it just doesn't look. It's short. It's so short of a yard of pace, and it seems to be so important. And is it just the pace, or is it a little bit of fitness? So to me, a lot of these yellow cards he gets, I can't say every yellow card, but a lot of the yellow cards he gets, he goes in for a challenge that he knows he can't win. In my opinion, the way I see it, because he doesn't want to run alongside the player. He wants to tackle him, and he knows. I'm sure on at least a couple of occasions he knows he's going to bring him down, and he knows he's going to get a yellow card. But he just does it because he doesn't want to, you know, go sprinting 30 yards with somebody and trying to, I don't know, shepherd him towards a touchline or whatever that fit players do. And it's something that goes unnoticed by so many people. When something like what anybody does on a football field, really, but when Casemiro does that, what people can't grasp is what somebody else might have done and found it easy. Do you know what I mean? Somebody who's fitter and can run alongside him, maybe you just usher him down the touchline and you end up getting a throw-in, or you end up giving them a throw-in rather than diving in and getting one of your players' books. So, yeah, I'm not Casemiro's biggest fan at the moment, I've got to be honest. Just
so you guys are aware, I've just seen Liverpool's lineup to face Southampton tonight. On their bench, they have Konate, Diaz, McAllister. The only senior players they have in the starting 11 are Kelleher, who's still a second-choice keeper, but he'd be brilliant in the cup, to be fair. They have Gomez, Van Dijk, Gakpo, Harvey Elliott, and Tsimikas. They're the only names that you would know. The rest of them are, you know, youngsters from the academy. Obviously, Bradley's in there, who's come in and done really well. So, I mean, I still think Liverpool are going to win, but it's not as if it's the strongest team. That's the only thing I would say. It's not as if it's the strongest team. If we were going in to play Liverpool now, I mean, we're pretty poor at the moment, to be honest, but I'd have a bit more faith. I just think by the time this quarter-final comes around, they're going to have some players back. But, interestingly enough, this quarter-final is going to be played on the weekend, 16th of March. So it's not too far away. It's like in 2 weeks. So we'll have to wait and see.
Are they at home?
Liverpool are...
Yeah. They're
at home, yeah.
What's in 2 weeks' time?
16th and 17th, yeah, that weekend.
You alright, Ricky?
Devastated.
Are you away?
Are you away?
Oh no. Devastated.
Oh, Ricky, you're gonna miss it.
I might have to cancel it.
He's on the phone. He's on the phone to the wife. Someone's come up. Someone's come up.
That's a big game.
Ricky's trying to move his holiday about. Holiday for sale.
So we're supposed to be playing. I've already looked at this. We're supposed to be playing Sheffield United that
Yeah,
day.
that's going to get
I
rescheduled.
thought I was just missing Sheffield United at home.
Oh, thoughts and prayers. You might want to miss it, to be fair, depending on how we're doing at the moment. Oh, God. Honestly. And then the last, well, actually, 1 second. Damianas Portorino, thank you for your super chat. Goldio says, does Ricky want Erik ten Hag to leave?
I'm not convinced by him, let's put it that way. I'll leave it at that.
We'll talk more after the
I'm far
game.
from, let's hope I'm more convinced by him at 10 o'clock tonight.
Tahu says, United, do we know why Mainu is on the bench? Also, love the streams, thank you very much. We think he's just being rested, but any Ten Hag comments coming through, if they do come through, we will bring them to you here. Last player to watch we had is Bruno. Mordzs, say what you want about Bruno, but he will fight for the badge. That's one thing you can say, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm not really a Bruno hater anyway. I'm always, I'm not say always, but I do still believe that Bruno should be part of the team and he should definitely be starting. So, yeah, I'm 100% for him to play. He fights for the badge. He has attributes that a lot of other players on the pitch do not have. In fact, most of the players don't have. So, if he can pull out some of them attributes and help us win this game, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. I mean, Bruno's had so many mixed reviews, but I think we have to, in times like this where we are really kind of shaky, you have to have some sort of stability in the team, and he is the captain at the end of the day. Let's move on to some score predictions, everyone. Get your predictions down in the chat. Sam, we'll come to you first. Score prediction, please.
I said earlier 1-0 in our group chat, but that's because I didn't think Bruno and Varane would make it. Just before I give my score prediction, I do actually hope that Varane and Bruno are 100% fit, because if they're not and they go off and they miss the derby, then we're in big trouble. So I do hope they are 100% fit. If they are 100% fit, then I'm going to go 2-1 Manchester United.
Love it. Who's scoring, Sam?
Anthony's going to score, and Amrabat.
Ooh. Go on, Sam.
Sounds different.
One thing I would say is, from the Fulham game, which is kind of scaring me a bit, I generally didn't see any goals in us at all. But hopefully today we'll see something different. Darren Mulaney says, breaking news, Ricky's going to miss the quarter-final. Anyone want a holiday? Lol. Gary Blart says, get up a Meccano and put him on the team.
Yep.
Out off this live stream and put him in the team. Mords, you get that all the time, don't you?
I get it in real life.
We could do with Meccano at the back right now.
Yeah,
Get your boots
true.
on. But on that, Mords, what's your score prediction?
Yeah, I've said 3-2. Garnacho winner. The other two, anyone score, please. I don't mind who else it is, just anyone.
Do you reckon Elanga will score tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he's
he'll
gonna be begging for it. He's gonna take so many shots. He's gonna be everywhere. He's definitely gonna want it.
And Ricky?
Is it extra time and pens if it's a draw?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to go 1-1.
Ricky, I want to be leaving here before midnight tonight, to be honest with you. Honestly.
I'm not in control of what happens, Beth. I'm just having a guess at what might happen.
We'll win on pens. Or
Hopefully,
extra time.
yeah. Hopefully we'll win on pens, yeah.
We've got Goldio saying, when is Ricky not on holiday? I mean, let him enjoy it. Let him enjoy his time. Fuad Abdu says, we play bad against teams that possess the ball. We win games against teams that sit back. Nottingham going to surprise us today. Thank you for your super chat. My score prediction is 2-1 to Manchester United. I think we're going to score, then they're going to equalise, and then we're going to score in like the 88th minute or something like that. And then it's going to be then like 10 minutes of injury time where we're like, what is going to happen? Who's going to score the winner? I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes. He's going to score the winner. No bias in that whatsoever. And then he's going to go like this.
Oh.
No, I'm joking. He probably won't. He'll probably just celebrate. He knows what to do. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. So it will be interesting to see, what are you guys saying in the chat? Who is going to score? What are your score predictions? We'll get them in. I mean, last but not least, before we move on to Goldbridge, I will ask you all this. If you could take one player from Forest to go into United's squad, doesn't have to go into the starting 11, but just go into Man United's squad, who would you take?
I want a new striker.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, right now, as in today?
No,
Or talking about
just in general.
Oh, okay, in general. And I'll keep Highland. That's a good question, to be fair.
Anthony Elanga.
True.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
I was waiting to come to you.
Without a shadow of a doubt. He's better than all our wingers.
I'd take Gibbs White, personally. Gibbs White, yeah, I'd pick.
I'll take Elanga.
I was between Gibbs White and Elanga, but I'd probably go Elanga.
Just because we have a 10, you don't have a right winger.
Do like Elanga.
The Elanga hype.
The Elanga stand.
I mean, it is mad that we sold him for 15 mil and bought Anthony for just over 80. Like, that's got to be the worst bit of business we've ever seen in football history.
From the academy as well.
Like, genuinely, it's got to be the worst bit of business in. Dominguez says tactical statistician. Elanga. Murillo, the centre back from Brazil, should have never sold him. Awonye. And Daniel Hay says, go to penalties, it'll go down to Onana to score the winner. Gary Blatt says, Liverpool/Saints in the quarters. Slow Sports News, weird. But thank you very much for that. Here's one for you, actually. I'll get told when Mark is live. But here's one. If it goes to penalties, are we more confident now with Onana in goal than when De Gea was in goal?
Ooh, great question. Never saved penalties to get it, did he?
No, but Onana did save one against Copenhagen, so we're more confident in that. Ricky?
Probably, I'd say, yeah.
Did De Gea save one against Fulham over the West Ham?
I'd only say that.
Yeah, that's like his last ever game.
Yeah.
It was like 6 years before he's like saved one before that.
I'd say the only thing is we haven't really conceded that many penalties to judge if Onana is good enough to save them or not.
The one thing I would say is when we conceded a penalty against Galatasaray, he got really close to it.
Yeah.
And the guy missed the penalty. It went past the post, but he dived the right way, and I think he would have saved it. And then obviously the Copenhagen one, he saved it, and that was a good save. He obviously has conceded as well. You're not going to save every penalty, but I think I'm going to be honest. Like, De Gea was so poor at penalties. I think like anything's kind of a little bit better. Like we were all talking about, you know, when it was the Europa League final, should Solskjaer have like subbed on Henderson? And you know, I don't think Henderson's great either. So it's like at least we have maybe a bit more of a chance, but still, you know. And to be fair, our players on penalties, we went to penalties against Brighton in the FA Cup semi-final, didn't it, last season, and we scored all of our pens. Like nobody missed a pen. So I'm thinking, oh God, I don't want to say it, but I'm thinking with penalties we've got a good shout. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh,
we've got a good shout.
Jinx.
Do you think it goes to penalties we win?
Yeah.
I think you have to. You have to back the team.
You have to say yeah.
You have to back the team.
Yeah.
But everyone, Mark will be going live any second now. So we don't have Faz here, who usually tells us what we should infiltrate the chat with. Any ideas, anyone, of what we should do it with today?
What does he normally
Quickly.
do? I don't actually know what he does.
Quickly, let's go with just infiltrate the chat with McTominay winner.
I was going to say McTominay.
McTominay winner. Infiltrate the chat with McTominay winner. Thank you everyone for joining us on this build-up show. Armband Ekin says we have to win. Come on. Exactly, you do have to win. We'll be back with the fans forum afterwards along with Mark's final score. Kev will be joining us, me, Ricky, Mordzs and Kev. Come on United, let's get through. We'll worry about Liverpool later on. Come on Southampton as well, fingers crossed. Infiltrate the chat with McTominay. He's going to score the winner and we'll see you later. We'll see you in a couple hours' time. Depends if it goes to penalties or not.